Three things I wish I knew earlier before I started my computer science degree at a Canadian university. So check this video till the very end. Let's find out together. So before we start, let me give you a little introduction. So my name is Aman and currently I'm in second year in a computer science program at a Canadian university and it's one of the top schools as well. So it's been almost 1 year since I switched from business to computer science. So previously I was studying business and I realized it wasn't for me because I'm not so good in writing papers and doing research work and in business in general. So I switched to a computer science degree because I felt that was where I wanted to be. So here are three things which I wish I knew earlier before I began. So number one is that don't procrastinate at all. Now I feel like it applies to each and every program, but specifically for computer science, what I mean is that learn the algorithms, learn the program in advance, and you should understand each and every concept in advance, and don't just mess around throughout the entire semester and you regret that at the end of the semester when you have your final exam. So yeah, I feel like procrastination is one of the key issues why students kind of fail in the course in the end and they screw up their whole grades. So yeah, just plan ahead and be safe in the very end. So second of all is that focus on labs. Yes, guys, I feel like labs are very important in computer science because it teaches you the core concept in a practical way and you actually code and you actually try to figure out what the prof wants you to know. So I feel like labs are highly important in computer science degree. It just gives you a basic foundation of what exactly the concept or what exactly the particular algorithm is all about. So I feel like you should just pay attention on labs. And if you understand the labs, I guess you are 50% or at least not even 50%, I'll say 60% done with the course. So yeah, I feel like always pay attention to the labs and don't use AI for doing the labs because labs are super important. Yeah, if you are good with the labs, then I guess you're basically good for the exam as well. Now, third thing, which I really wish I knew earlier, guys. Yeah, this is one of the main points why I think computer science degree is highly different from other degrees is to go to the lectures. I feel like that is very important. Yeah, this is very controversial, I know, but going to the lectures in computer science degree is very important. Now, particularly in our university where I am right now, you have to technically attend the lectures because they have a system that you have to answer the questions, and if you're able to answer the questions, then basically that means you are present in the lecture, so they give you grade for that. And I guess we have like 10% grade based on participation. So in my case, actually I have to go, but in your case, let's say even if you don't have to go to the lecture, then I guess you should still go to the lecture. And what I mean by that is that because there are a few concepts which you don't really understand in the beginning. I feel like when I began my computer science degree, I didn't even know what is a method. Like, how do you even declare a method, and why is it public, why is it private, why is it protected, and why do we write void, why do we write static, or why do we write any integer? So I didn't even know that, to be honest. And I remember I missed my first computer science lecture. I had a course based on C#. So I missed that lecture, and in that lecture, prof kind of went through the basic stuff of the language, like super basic stuff, and I missed that. And I think I attended the second lecture, and by that lecture, he began teaching us the language in general and the syntax. And I remember I was sitting in the lecture in the front row, and I didn't even know what is public. Like, why do you even declare a method public, and why is a class public, and what is even a class? I didn't even know that back then. So I feel like, yeah, attend the lectures and pay attention to the small things the professor is mentioning, like why this is that, why isn't this that, because sometimes, especially in output based questions, when you have to read each and every single line of the code, you don't really realize that the output is something different, and you miss that particular one word, that one little code which was mentioned, that changes the whole output of the whole program. So I feel like attending the lectures is really important, and if your professor is actually good, then yeah, you should attend. And even if he's not the best one, then still, I mean, he's a professor, right? Like, he knows it much better than you. So I feel like attending the lectures is very important. Like, when I was in business, I think it wasn't that important because in business you just have to read these stuff and you should just remember things, right? So you don't really need to go to the lecture, I feel like. But when you're in computer science and maybe engineering degrees or maybe mathematical degrees, I feel like you have to attend lectures, even though we have so many great platforms like DeepSeek, ChatGPT, black box. I feel like still attending a lecture in person could help you way more than studying from some AI on a computer. So that's all, guys. And some additional tip which I would like to include is that always know a little bit of the language which the professor is teaching, ahead, so that at least you are aware of the basic syntax, so you won't actually struggle like I did. I remember when I went to my first lecture, and I think the language was C sharp, and I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything basically. I didn't even know the first word, why he wrote that. So my professor was amazing. I feel like he was a great professor, but yeah, basically it was my fault that I didn't keep with the lecture, and it took me a while to get the language, I feel like, and yeah, it was actually a mess. Like I didn't know anything, and I went to the lab just sitting idle. I didn't know anything basically. So I don't want you guys to make the mistakes which I did. That's why I made this video. And let me know if you're also in computer science degree and what school you are in and how you're finding the program. I like it very much, and I'm still exploring the fields which I want to be in. But yeah, it was nice to talk with you. And if you have come all the way till now, then I really appreciate that. And thanks again. I'll see you in the next video.